Someone's gotta change. Someone's gotta change.
Hi guys, it's Deborah. Welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to share my 30-day experience of alternate day fasting. So alternate day fasting is not a diet. It's a form of intermittent fasting. And the general protocol is eat one day, fast the next, eat, fast, repeat. So the protocol that I have followed since day one has been my fast day consists solely of natural spring water and black coffee. And my fast usually runs around 36 hours. I have done up to 42 hours and as low as 32 hours, but I'm aiming to keep that even more consistent of minimum of 36 hours. And then my eating window is usually 8 to 10 hours, thereabouts. And I am implementing a whole foods, plant-based, nutrient-dense, gut-friendly, anti-inflammatory diet. But there's no restrictions. There's no, you pick whatever diet or foods that you want to eat. There's really no set plan. It's totally self-directed. This is just what I'm doing to achieve the goals that I want, which is to be as healthy and vibrant as I can be. So just a little bit about me. I am 54. I'm a mother of 2 grown children and a grandmother of 3. So what brought me to ADF was I had hit my highest weight ever of 189.4. And I was at the lowest point of my life. I was really in a dark place. A lot of things over the last few years have led to this. And I didn't know how to pull myself out of that. I was just really, really, really low. And with all the weight and the bloating and I felt so sick. So what I did was what I usually do is when I hit that low point is I just ask the universe to please help me help myself. And certainly the answer came to me very quickly. I don't even remember. I was just on YouTube and I found ADF and I started to research. And I found some amazing women who had done or were doing ADF and had amazing success on many levels. Some of the women who inspired me were Rachel Sharp, Jen Stevens, Colleen Marie, and back in the day, I had followed Dr. Jason Fung and Thomas DeLauer and many women who were doing this very thing. They were doing ADF, documenting their journey, and totally inspired me. So I thought, okay, I'm going to consider ADF. But what I wanted to do was make sure I had a solid, strong foundation. And so my formula for success that has worked in other areas of my life, I knew if I was going to do this, I needed to go all in. I didn't want to start and stop. I didn't want to let myself down. I wanted to be supportive of myself. This was part of my the foundation I wanted to build. So my 3-part formula is to make a statement, a what, why, and how. And I think putting these three things in place is the magic. It's like the recipe for success. So I did that. I first went really general. So I said, what? I want to do ADF. Why? And I made a pretty extensive list. I'll share that in just a minute. And my how was what structure or protocol of alternate day fasting did I want to adhere to? Because there's so many different ways people do ADF, but I knew what would work and what wouldn't. And so before I started, so that there was no wiggle room, I wanted to set a clear plan for me. And so that's what I did. So just a little bit about me. So I'm 54. I stand 5'3". My starting weight was 189.4, and my goal is to lose 50 pounds. So my goal weight is 139.4. And, just a little bit of background. I have always been a very active person. I used to run. I'm an avid cycler. I walk I used to, those minimum 10,000 steps. There's been times when I hit 20,000, and I like stuff like that. I used to be heavily into kayaking. And yeah, so just generally active and fit. And I like that. I like to feel fit and strong and healthy and vibrant. So that was that. But what happened for me in 2009, I fell at work. I used to work in a hospital, and I fell on some liquid on the floor, and I fell in this very awkward way, which injured my left side of my body. And so, but because I believe I was so fit, I was doing physiotherapy and I was really bouncing back. But in 2 months after that, I was in a car accident. So there was just such a shock to my central nervous system, and I wasn't bouncing back after that. So about a year later, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, which is like a chronic pain situation. And that really had an effect on the activity that I was doing. And it creates a lot of joint pain and muscle aches and things like that. And then, but still, I worked really hard at continuing to help myself in the best way I could, staying active, reducing stress, that kind of stuff. And then in 2020, we know the pandemic, that was really a shock to me, because I ended one business and then started another, and that got shut down because of COVID. And then in October of 2021, I had an abdominal surgery, which was a routine procedure, but the surgeon had nicked an artery in my abdomen, and I was bleeding internally, and my body was going into shock. And so that resulted in me being in the hospital for 6 days on IVs, and like they were just pouring antibiotics into me. I had a blood transfusion. So that was like, I was in the hospital for six days, and then I was on bed rest for 12 weeks. So that led me into 2022, and and there were a couple more situations. So anyway, it brought me to this so low place, emotionally, mentally, psychologically. And then on top of that, I had put on so much weight. It was really, really difficult. So like I said, I knew I needed to find a way to pull myself out of that. And that's when I found ADF. So I'll share with you my why list, because I believe that starting ADF requires a solid foundation. And that why list has carried me through They're really challenging, difficult times, because sometimes in your fast day, there's so much cleansing going on in terms of not just physiologically, but emotionally. And without that very solid, firm commitment to yourself, it can, I'm not sure how it's possible, but anyway, this is what I've done, and so I'm just sharing how I was successful. So I'll share my why list. So my what is ADF. My why was I wanted a structured, disciplined program. I needed to have, you need to do this, this, and this. That's what works for me. So the discipline component. And I wanted to show myself that I could follow through. It had to be a program or a structure that was sustainable for me. And I had fasted before, so I knew, like, I wasn't afraid of hunger. I was more not even afraid. Well, there was a fear of just letting myself down, starting something again and stopping or failing. Like, I just couldn't go through another thing. In that dark moment, I knew what I needed. And when ADF came into my awareness, it's not just helping me lose weight, it's so much more than that. So anyways, so to have my back, support myself, not rely on external support systems. I needed to step up and do it for myself, reparent, whatever it's called. So I made that commitment, me to me. That was so important for me. And then obviously I wanted to lose weight, but it wasn't so much losing weight. It was more, I wanted to lose body fat. And I knew that ADF with the fasting component is proven to do that. So when I started ADF, my weight was 189.4, but my body fat percentage was 55.2. And my body muscle mass percentage was 29.4. So completely, they should have been reversed in a healthy female. So as of today, after 30 days, my body fat percentage went from 55.2 to 47 point something. And my body mass muscle percentage went from 29.4 to, I think it's 34, 35% now. So my body fat's going down and my muscle mass is going up. That's incredible. I'm not really, like, I'm doing some exercise and I have an active job, but it's like, they say there's no magic pill, and there isn't, but this is a magical protocol. It really is. Anyway, so that part. And then I want to have less pain and aches, because my fibromyalgia, my chronic pain situation was maxed out. There was a moment back when, at that really low point, where I was contemplating moving, because I live on the 3rd floor of an apartment and there's no elevator. So I had to walk up 3 flights of stairs. And I was struggling to be able to do that, to the point where I thought, I have to move. That was another moment for me to say, enough is enough. Like, this is not how I want to live my life. And so here we are. Another huge thing for me was I wanted whatever program I was going to do to work at healing my gut. My gut is so sick from so many different things. And you can see in my pics, I've posted progress pics in my other videos, all the weight in my middle, and my gut was just so bloated, so inflamed. And at that point, everything I ate, I had like such a reaction to, in terms of bloating or feeling sick and tired and sluggish. Like, it was just really, I was at that breaking point. So healing my gut, and that's why I've also implemented this anti-inflammatory type of diet, whole food, plant-based, nutrient dense. Like, I just want to feel vibrant and nourished and alive. And that was one of the other things. So because I was at that low point, I wanted to have that spark back. I wanted to participate in life. I was like bare bones, I was like maybe in an existential crisis or something. So I wanted that to shift. I wanted to feel alive. I wanted to feel excited about life. And then I also wanted a form of accountability. And, you know, I'm a single woman, and so there wasn't like a partner or anything. So I decided part of that was going to be, I was going to document. I was going to get up. I was going to show up for myself and make a video. At first it was just to kind of be like a journaling for me. But then I decided to put it out to the world on YouTube. And it was actually a really great decision. I was scared like crazy. But knowing that every day I make a video or I have to get before the camera, and it's been huge, because there were some days where I thought in the middle of a horrible fast that I was going to, you know, bail. But I reminded myself it was either, oh, I have to get on the scale the next day, or my video, or I don't want to let people down. And, you know, I've shared this with my family and they're cheering for me. And for so many reasons that would get me through. And then also the aesthetics, right? I want to feel good. I want to look good. I want to feel sexy. I want to wear fun clothes. You know, so there's that. And also, like, I really love food. I didn't want to feel restricted. You know, anytime I've done keto or vegan, any of those diets where you restrict one thing for the other and all that kind of stuff, I didn't want any of that. And now I am like so in my flow, in my vibe with food. I bake, I cook. I don't worry about macros at all. I don't count calories, though I did struggle at the beginning. It was so ingrained in me that I was, you know, having some anxiety around my eat days and how many calories, because you know, you eat. Well, I typically eat probably now, if I think about it, like somewhere around 2,200 to 2,600 calories. That would have like given me massive anxiety back in the day. So, yeah, so those are primarily my whys. So I'll share too some of the benefits that I had researched that I thought I wanted to incorporate into my life. There are so many benefits, and I highly recommend that if you're interested in ADF, do a bunch of research and find out if this is actually something that you want. I mean, the benefits are off the charts, but some of the benefits that appealed to me were fat loss, not just weight loss, like actual body fat loss. Because if you do research on fasting and what happens to your body at different stages of a fast, you know, the first, I think 12 hours is fat loss, and then you go into lowered ghrelin levels. And then from there, you go into an actual state of autophagy. So those are hormones, and there's about 12 or 14 hormones that get, you know, regulated and balanced through fasting, through this lifestyle, this protocol. And I wanted those benefits. So like I said, the lowered ghrelin levels, balanced insulin levels, like basically when you're not eating, when you're fasting, there's no insulin response because you're not consuming food, which is even more important why I decided to do the strict protocol that I was doing, because it's my understanding based on what I believe is that when you consume a calorie, you spike your insulin, and then that insulin effect on your body goes into storing fat. So that's a big topic to research. I'm just giving like basic information here. Your leptin levels get regulated, your growth hormone levels increase, which is like anti-aging, and bone formation, muscle formation, all those kinds of things. You know, I'm in my 50s and those things are important to me. Fasting heals your gut. it minimizes anti-inflammatory responses and reducing bloating and things like that. So those are general, but the benefits that I personally have around, well, feasting, my feasting days, is like I legitimately love food. I really do. And it was, you know, before ADF, I used to actually hate eating. Because there was always so much anxiety. Was I eating the right proportion of macros? Was I in a calorie deficit? Was I consuming enough nutrient dense foods? Was I getting some of this, some of that? I was like, nothing that I had done up until now had worked. So I'm free from that today. The anxiety, the mental chatter, and I can bake and eat and cook and break bread with my family and not worry about what's being served. I'm pretty straight up and open about the fact, well, with my family, that I'm on ADF, and so we just work around that. If we're gonna get together, you know, it's like, hey, do you want to see each other Friday or Saturday? I always say, well, Saturday's my eat day, so let's do it then. And everybody's like cool with that. And so it's very doable in terms of socialization. The cost of food. So if you think about 30 days, I only eat 15 of those days. So, and now that I'm doing a lot more home baking and cooking, that expense has gone down exponentially. Like, that's great. I'm not a great budgeter, but I know I'm spending way less on food. And I've learned to really tap in. Like, I feel like for the first time in my life, I can say I eat intuitively. Literally, like, by the time I break my fast after 36 hours, I'm not in that frenzied hunger state. Like, I thought for sure I was going to go and eat, like, just binge, but it's the opposite. I wake up in the morning of my eat day. I usually get on the scale that day, and I just, like, you know, I take my time. I'm relaxed. Usually I plan what I'm going to break my fast with the night before, and then I sit down in a calm environment. I enjoy my food. I plan what I'm going to eat next, and I just, like, enjoy the whole process of it. I feel nourished. And then in terms of fasting, like, the benefits of that fasting time are, you know, I'm in a relaxed state. Yeah, there are times when the fast is really hard, especially in the first 2-3 weeks, and some days I even have challenging fast days. But I can tell you, like, some of my fast days where I've been active and busy at work or out with family, I have so much energy, more energy than when I eat, for sure. And also it has allowed me to break the emotional eating pattern. I mean, it's not broken entirely because, you know, I'm like decades in of suppressing my emotions and stuffing them down with different things, and trying to self-medicate with food or, yeah, all that kind of stuff. So I find myself healing that really, really deeply. So, and I'm only 30 days, but I feel the more I purge or honor or nurture those emotions that come up, and then I release them. And I'm also learning healthy strategies around that. But definitely the fast days have, like, pushed me into that. And the benefits are amazing. I have let go of so many things in 30 days. And, like, I feel like legitimately healed. Like, to me, that's a massive benefit. So anyways, guys, so I want to thank everybody for watching my video. If you're interested in, I've been documenting my day-by-day journey of ADF. I'm now on day 36, so I have right from day one, and just kind of, I share my daily, whatever is going on in my day. And then I'm also going to create content around a whole food plant-based diet in terms of alternate day fasting and other things. I have lots of ideas and content that I want to share. So surely if you like this video, if you would hit like, I would so appreciate it. And if you think you'd get benefit from my videos, subscribe. And I will see you guys in at the day 60 mark. Okay, have an awesome day.